So, I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera, but I just put the front end down on the ground in probably, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks. And the nose will drop a little bit because the tires, they were canted down a little bit. I have to tighten up the lower control arms and the upper control arms, but the ball joints, the tie rod ends, the upper clevis, I have to tighten the lower clevis. These must be kind of generic lower control arms. The bushings were not 100% correct, but they were the right length. On the original, there's a little inner steel sleeve that sticks out a little bit, whereas they weren't flush, but I'm thinking they were more maybe for the KK, but we'll have to see if I have to change those bushings later on. But I don't think so. Getting the axles re-engaged, it wasn't difficult, but it was kind of hard for me to figure out where they were supposed to go, what it was supposed to look like, because I wasn't really paying attention. And when I took it apart, it's kind of been a long time ago. You can kind of see the outer, the front tire there is canted outwards just a little bit, but that should be pretty close. Pretty close. Let's see. I have the towing package. Where's my fan? And so it has a mechanical fan and electric fan, and I found out the electrical fan was dead, was not working at all. So I bought a new fan in the standard Liberty shroud. I was able to figure out how to take the motor out and put it in my original deep shroud. That wasn't too bad. It comes apart pretty easy. Oop, let me get a light. Where's my light? I don't know. So I thought that maybe installing this lower clevis was going to be difficult. I was going to have to undo the suspension bolts, but really I think because this is only a 2-inch lift, I just had to pry it backwards a little bit, and then the bolt went right in. Of course, I had the steering knuckle off. But anyway, so I was kind of concerned about how well I had seated the axles, but I pulled on them, and you can feel the spring clip engaged, and obviously they fit in the knuckle okay. So I think this turned out pretty good. The new rack is installed. The bushings completely were ripped off the top of it when I finally took the bolts out. It was easier to actually take it and then tilt it backwards down towards the oil pan, then move it over under the crank, and then tilt the pinion up again. So actually putting it back in was a little easier than it was taking it out. I tried to clean it up as best I could. I'm not really sure if I'm going to put the power steering pump in first, or if I'm going to do the water pump first. I'll probably do the water pump first, simply because it's going to be all messy. I can keep stuff out of the way. So I torqued the upper spring perch, but I need to torque the upper control arm. I'm sure that's going to be a lot of fun. For some reason, I have impact sockets for everything, but I don't have an 18. So, but I'm just putting it in now. You know, I'm putting it back together again, so I guess I really don't need an impact. But, so that's what's happening. I think it looks pretty good there. I mean, as far as the stance goes, I hope I did everything all right, and it drives okay. Oh, there was one more thing. The high pressure line in this YouTube video, the guy, his bolt, one bolt was way back here, and he was able to get through the headlight bucket and get one of them, and then he drilled a hole about here. But for me, both of mine were actually, both of the screws for me are actually right down there. So I did have to make a little cut here in the front, but not like the YouTube guy who had to cut a big hole right back here. So I don't know. This is a 2002. But that actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. They're both little 10 millimeter bolts. And then once you get those out, you just pull the whole thing out. Although it wasn't a lot of fun, but you can do it.